Wagering expert Todd Fuhrman. Todd, great to see you. Let's start with the three-point contest, Brandon's favorite. Some great shooters in that field. Where are you putting your money?
So it goes without saying, when you're trying to approach some of the festivities around All-Star Weekend, you go in with bated breath, and I'm not encouraging anybody to dump their windfall of newfound cash in the wake of the Super Bowl in these particular events. But when you start to handicap the three-point shootout, I'm not going to take the favorite, but I'm going to take a guy that's got relatively short odds, and that would be guard in Patty Mills. When you look at Mills, he's got the best accuracy of any player in this contest. The only player averaging more threes per game competing against him will be Fred VanVleet. But what's interesting about Mills, his size is often a detriment in the run of NBA play, talking about a guy at 6'1". But what that's afforded him to do is master a quick release, something that's going to pay dividends when he tries to get through every rack of balls that he'll have at his disposal. I think Mills has a stroke that's easily repeated in this kind of event. And while I know a lot of people, Jeremy, were probably hoping that I was clamoring for Karl Anthony Towns and a little bit of long shot value here, I'm going to take Patty Mills. I think the diminutive guard out of Australia can get the job done.
Yeah, Patty Mills at plus 450, along with Fred VanVleet atop the odds board. All right, the skills competition has a new format that features a 4-round competition to test shooting, passing, and dribbling ability. It's Team Rooks versus Team Cavs versus Team Antetokounmpo. We know who the home crowd will be backing. What about you, Todd?
This is an interesting market because I think when you look at the trio of teams that are going to be competing here, yes, Giannis is the best player in this, but you worry if his brothers can keep up with everybody else. So they're rightful long shots, and I kind of eliminated them right off the bat. You look at the rookies, and we'll see how they fare on this big stage. I think when you're talking about all the X's and O's, they check every box. But when you're the home team playing in front of your home crowds, you get that little extra burst. And I really think there's some value with the trio of Cavaliers. Jared Allen, of course, getting named to the All-Star game as a late addition in the wake of James Harden dealing with that hamstring injury. When you're talking about Evan Mobley, this is a guy who can do it all. And I think the Cavs have a superstar here that'll be a part of their roster going forward. And then Darius Garland. This is a guy that's going to be able to dribble, he'll shoot. And when you're talking about some of the passing prowess this will require, I think Team Cavs offer excellent value in this new skills format.
Always love to see that plus money, plus 250. As we head into All-Star Weekend. All right, let's go outside the All-Star Weekend as we hit the de facto midway point of the season. DeMar DeRozan and Joel Embiid are the two names that are being bandied about in that MVP conversation. Who has the edge for you at this point?
Yeah, they're both being mentioned, but the crazy part about it, Jeremy, their odds are nowhere close to one another. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA. He's elevated a average Denver Nuggets team to heights that I didn't think they were going to be able to achieve with no Michael Porter Jr. and no Jamal Murray. But you do wonder about voter fatigue there. PER-wise, he's the best in the game. Joel Embiid, this is the most interesting case because he is the rightful favorite here, talking about a player that's gone out there and dominated. But let's see how he coexists on the floor with James Harden and so much in the way of expectations heaped on the 76ers. So I look at that board and think DeMar DeRozan at 30-1 is more than compelling as the best value out there. You talk about the recent run of success he's had, shooting better than 50% from the floor, 35 plus points per game, and he's really benefited in terms of the Bulls dealing with injuries. They haven't missed a beat despite their schedule toughening up, and I think DeRozan has brandished and basically embraced the role of being the star for a team that's a surprise entrant into the race for that number 1 seed overall. Going to be hard to keep the hardware away from him if the Bulls somehow find a way to end up with that 1 seed overall in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, you know when your name's getting mentioned with the likes of MJ and the Bulls that you are on a bit of a heater. So good bet there at 30-1. All right, let's look at the NBA championship odds. The Suns, I mean, they're running away with the Western Conference. While there are 5 teams within 2.5 games of one another in the East, Miami and aforementioned Chicago atop the summit together. Based on what you've seen to date, who are you putting your money on for the title?
Let's not sugarcoat it. I think the Suns are the team to beat. This is a team that you could have thought had a finals hangover coming into the season, but they haven't missed a beat. And if anything, they look like they're playing with much more a sense of purpose. With a healthy Chris Paul, they're clearly worthy front runners at this point. And you look at the board there, we'll see if the Bucks can get it together. They've kind of been sleepwalking through the regular season. When you talk about the Nets, hard to really figure out what this team has until you see how healthy Kevin Durant is returning. But I'll go further down that left column and take the team at the bottom in the Miami Heat. We've seen this team get there before. They are truly the embodiment of a team that the sum of its parts are better than any individual. You have a bona fide leader in Jimmy Butler, who is the straw that stirs the drink. Victor Oladipo working his way back. He's on a rehab stint with the Skyforce. So if they can get him healthy, it adds another weapon into the fold. Tyler Hero clearly asserting himself as one of those upper echelon scorers. And when Bam Adebayo is out there, it gives them a presence in the middle. I think Spo's X's and O's are as good as anybody. This is a team that continues to fly under the radar despite being top 10 in offensive and defensive efficiency. If I'm looking to take a little bit of a sleeper right now, let all the heavyweights garner the attention. I'm taking the Heat at 11-1.
Yeah, a bunch of fist pumps in the control room, Todd. We got a bunch of Heat fans in there, so they'll be liking that pick. All right, because it's Friday and producer Jack has me and you here, he's indulging us both by transitioning us over to hockey. Just 4 games on the slate tonight, Todd. Thankfully, my lowly Winnipeg Jets are